right, folks, we have been teasing this, feels like for weeks, maybe months. I don't even know at this point.
It's been months.
But we are starting the 323 Bourbon Library Podcast. We've been putting out content on Instagram, YouTube, all the visual medias, TikTok, etc. for well over 2 years now. And I thought, man, this would be really cool to get some buddies in the room and just talk about bourbon. We'll give some news occasionally. We'll do some bottle reviews occasionally. Who knows? We'll hopefully do some interviews and get some guests in here. But this is really just an opportunity for us to spend some time together, talk about bourbon. But I thought for this very first episode, the best thing would be to introduce ourselves a little bit. I don't think I've actually introduced myself all in one moment over the years of doing content and putting it out there. Rest in peace. We do have a fourth friend. He'll be joining us at another point. And there maybe trying to get 4 people in the room at once does prove to be a little difficult. Eventually, we'll all 4 get in the same room together. But we'll have him introduce himself at another moment. So I'll kick things off and just kind of give introduction wise. Where I was thinking about going is like bourbon specifically. How did we get into bourbon? Whiskey, if we started in whiskey and then transitioned to bourbon, whatever that looks like, right? So for me, this is and I think everybody knows my name by now. I'm Ronnie. But let's see here. I started drinking whiskey. The very first glass of bourbon I had was in 2012.
I know the story.
2012. And he does know this story because he was there for my very first glass of bourbon. So we were invited. We used to work together over a decade ago. And we were in Cincinnati.
That's right.
Presenting to a client to do some more work with them. We'd finished a job for them, and we were trying to win another project with them. And so we went out to their offices, and we were presenting our proposal. And before we went over to present, or after we presented, I can't remember the timeline exactly.
I think it was after at the dinner.
Yeah, it was before going to dinner with the client. But yes, after the presentation, before dinner with the client. I think there were 4 or 5 of us. We were down at the lobby bar in our hotel in downtown Cincinnati. And our VP, I guess is what he was. General manager at the time was like, all right, we're going to celebrate. I got our surround of drinks. And I'm like, okay, what are we getting? At the time, I was a big beer drinker, vodka. That was really all I ventured into. And so he's like, oh, I ordered us some Basil Hayden's. And I'm like, oh, well, that sounds like an interesting cocktail. What's in that cocktail? He's like, cocktail is Basil Hayden. It's a bourbon. And I was like, oh, I heard the word basil. I thought it was a cocktail. Crap, we're drinking whiskey. I'm not a big whiskey drinker. I didn't really want to be a whiskey drinker. Anyway, so I was like, man, time to man up. And we each got a Glencairn of Basil Hayden.
Yep.
And took a sip. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of smooth.
It's interesting.
It's not too bad. Kind of like that. It was very interesting. So Basil Hayden is the very first bourbon that I tried, and it's really opened my eyes to whiskeys in general. Obviously, it's 80 proof. At this point in my life, I don't drink any more Basil Hayden. But I do like some of the products that are more proofy that are the same recipe as Basil Hayden, like Old Granddad 114, etc. But anyway, that's like the initiation for me to getting into bourbon was in that moment. This gentleman, my buddy, happened to be there. What was that, 14 years ago?
That was 14, 15 years ago.
15 years ago for that opportunity. So crazy. I really didn't get into like the whole collecting of bourbon till probably about 4 years after that.
Yeah.
But I did come home from that trip and I said, listen, I'm not a big whiskey drinker, but I have whiskey drinkers come over to the house. I'm going to have a bottle of Basil Hayden because it's the good stuff for when anyone comes over to the house. So I went out and I bought a bottle of Basil Hayden, and I think I bought a bottle of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, and I bought a bottle of Woodford. And I think I had 3 bottles, and then I kind of maybe added a couple more along the way. And then about 4 years later, got really into the collecting bug.
Well, if the viewers out there, the folks out there don't know, Ronnie, they're going to figure it out pretty quick. You are 0 to 100. There is no 25%, 50%. Ronnie's either 100% in or not at all in. And if I was to talk about my bourbon journey, I'd say it started at the same time because of you, right? So I was a whiskey Coke guy. I was whiskey Coke on the rocks, right? Cheap stuff, 80 proof, right? Go out with clients with dinner, go out on business meetings, right? You just have a couple of cocktails, you barely even get a buzz. Life is great. Tried introducing you to some scotches because I was going on that scotch bend. I'm like, I like some of these Irish whiskeys. I like some of these peaty scotches. But you had gone 100% bourbon and there was no distracting you. So I was like, okay, I'm wasting my money buying these scotch bottles. Ronnie's never going to drink them.
They're nasty.
I'm going to have to start buying bourbon to have bourbon in the house. So, I mean, we kind of started around the same time, but you went 100%. I only went 25% in.
Fair.
So it's really just the last couple of years that you've been introducing me to these kind of tastings that we're now filming. But we've been doing those tastings. And if you remember when we first started, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago, you kept saying, Barsch, every time you pick something, you're picking a rye. So for like a year and a half, I thought I was a rye guy. I started buying bottles of rye at home, right? And it turns out the more I've learned, and that's kind of for me the real bourbon journey. Well, I do, and I've got a couple of bottles at home. They do like them, but if you put them next to a Weller or really any good weeded, I'm going to reach for the weeded one before I reach for the rye one without even thinking about it. So the rye sit on the shelf, even though the first days of the bourbon journey for me were, oh, I must like rye because you kept giving me like 3 different bottles or 4 different bottles.
Yeah.
And every time I was picking the rye.
It's interesting because I think that's almost reverse of a lot of people. A lot of people start with bourbon and don't like rye, and then they grow into rye. Where I feel like, you started like a little bit of bourbon, but like, oh, I really like rye,
right? And
then have now kind of come back to kind of where a lot of other people start with the softer, sweeter, weeded bourbon notes that are out there. So it's funny.
Yep, definitely.
Cool.
And you, sir?
So Giancarlo, my bourbon journey started like I think most people's did in college.
Oh, there we go. Way back when.
Way back when. And it wasn't anything fancy. So I wouldn't even call it a journey, just more like, this is we're trying to get drunk tonight.
Fair enough. A lot of people start that way.
Wild Turkey 101.
Okay.
So it's always a shot of Wild Turkey 101 and a Coors Original.
Oh. Ooh, banquet of beers.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cowboy beer.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine. It's what he drank, and we hung out. It's what I drank, and that's how it kind of all started. Of course, you get older, you figure out this is not that great. Not that great. So, but cocktails were my thing. So I had a lot of old fashions were my thing.
Okay.
Enjoyed those with my wife. She likes bourbon as well, which is great for me.
That's awesome. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, definitely. So we do date nights a lot and usually enjoy a nice bourbon cocktail.
Cool.
Then met Ronnie, and that's when I think I started drinking neat.
Okay.
Before then, it's usually in a cocktail.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know what to order. I just asked for a cocktail. They gave me the cocktail.
Right.
So after meeting Ronnie, I'm like, oh, what's in this cocktail? What am I drinking?
What are we actually getting here? I think a funny note is like, I think one of the first times we met, you were like, oh, I like ryes.
I do like rye.
And so I was like, oh, okay. I started pulling out a bunch of ryes. And so that's interesting. Both at least with me, the first thing you guys were into was ryes.
Ryes.
Yeah, sure.
That's awesome. I just had a recollection just now as you guys were talking of like, before I tried bourbon or before I had bourbon, I used to work with a guy back when I used to build houses, and I built probably the dumbest choice I ever made. I built a house for myself in the neighborhood for where I was building everybody else's houses. So didn't have a long commute, but also everybody in the neighborhood thought they could knock on my door and ask me to fix their house for them. That sucked. But anyway, there was another dumbass I worked with who did the same thing. So he lived right down the street from me. We both worked together.
Right.
And after work, we'd go, he had a big kegerator in his garage and a ping pong table. So we'd go drink beer, play ping pong in his garage. And then I got a ping pong table and he'd come over to my house. But I remember his comment he used to make, because he used to drink whiskey. And he'd always be like, Knob Creek. And he'd pull out a bottle of Knob Creek and he's like, love this Knob Creek, but it'll knock your dick in the dirt. And I was like, okay, I don't need to be drinking whiskey if it's going to knock my dick in the dirt. And the way he drank whiskey, yes, I would agree. His synopsis of what bourbon was absolutely correct. It did knock him dick, head, face, everything in the dirt. There were many times I think he passed out in the yard. So
it's more about volume of consumption.
Yeah,
that's a volume issue.
Absolutely. Which is hilarious. So yeah, listen, I think we got another buddy. We definitely want him to get his introductions in.
I want to hear his introduction to bourbon and how he got started. Because as Giancarlo was telling his story, I feel like most people I talk to say, "Oh, I started in college," or "This is what my dad drank," or "This is what my uncle drank." Right?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, somebody will be like, "Oh, well, this is what my dad or somebody had in the family," but they only had it out for special occasions, right? Like, where do people start? Because nobody in my family ever had bourbon. So
Mine neither.
I got into whiskey through a friend. You got into bourbon through a
Scotch.
friend at a business event. Like, I'm always curious to hear how people start.
Yeah, I think, and our buddy James is not here tonight, but I do think I might be able to piece together a little bit of his journey. If I'm completely wrong, James, you can correct me and tell your full story later.
There you go.
But I believe he said, typical college, a lot of drinking, whiskey, and maybe gotten too drunk off it and was like, I'm done with whiskey. Like, I think he was done with it till years later. And then he, I think he started getting it. I don't know. I'll let him tell it because I don't know how he got back into it. But we met, I guess it was probably maybe 2 years ago now, really kind of early when I started posting on Instagram and stuff. He had messaged, he's like, "Hey, I'm also in the Phoenix area. Would you want to meet at this, go bourbon hunting sometime?" And I was like, this is sort of weird. I like some dude reached out on the internet, like, not sure if I like that. I was still like very early in I'm like, oh, so weird. Anyway, so I was like, sure. I was like, here's a store I usually go to. Why don't we meet over there? Right. And anyway, so we hit a couple stores here in the like Chandler Gilbert area, and I was like, hey, he's a cool dude. Like, you should come over to the house, have some drinks or whatever. And anyway, it's gone that far. So,
and we turned the camera on when he first came. We turned the camera on for him.
Yeah, we did. He does not. He does not enjoy being on camera, as I think a lot of people don't. I definitely did not. This journey in social media or whatever I did not want to be on camera. My Instagram page for like a year was just pictures of whiskey. Okay. I would take a picture of a bottle or a glass in a bottle, and I would post it. That was it.
But don't you find this easier than like true public speaking? Like, go to a convention, get up in front of a couple hundred people you don't know. And even though you're good at the speech, you know what you're talking about. Like, that's more uncomfortable than doing this, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, the whole camera piece, I think a lot of people are like a little nervous, as I was too.
Yeah. But
honestly, this thing has been this hobby, I guess, has blossomed into something I would never have thought. I am not an audio visual
just
guy.
Looking around this studio, I never would have thought you'd have done this, but you did it, so we're here.
I have no lighting experience, no camera experience. I didn't go to school for this. And it's been kind of we'll call it my midlife crisis, I guess.
There you go.
Some people go buy a Corvette. Apparently I get into production of content. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments. Have you enjoyed it? But I'm excited. This is our very first episode. But the actual first episode, besides our introduction, is you guys voted on it. We put a poll out there of 3 big-time bottles: George T. Stagg 2025, William LaRue Weller 2025, and the latest release from Heaven Hill Heritage Collection, the 22-year-old bourbon. And you guys voted as to which bottle we're going to review as the first bottle, and that, by a pretty healthy margin, was the William LaRue Weller. So I'm kind of personally a little bit excited about that. I have always said, if anybody comments or asks me questions, whether I get this question, what's your favorite bourbon? Without hesitation, it's William LaRue Weller for me.
Okay.
It's the best thing I've ever had. I haven't had this.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that bottle first. I'm trying to ignore the Corvette comment. I'm on my second Corvette in 2 years, so I'm gonna ignore the Corvette comment. But I thought we were gonna do a blind first. So you want to do that? You want to do that first? Okay.
No, we're not doing this now.
I'm not doing it. You said first.
The very first episode.
Oh, gotcha.
We're gonna do this.
You guys following this?
We film multiple episodes in one night, but I'm not gonna start by drinking this.
Okay.
But this will be the first one you guys see.
It won't be the first one we do. It'll be the first one we show. I got it.
There you go. The magic of
television,
of production. So yes, we're going to be reviewing the 2025 release William LaRue Weller, 129 proof. I've not tried this. I've tried the 2024 at a buddy's house, and then it's been like maybe 6 years before that, like 2017, 2018, maybe was the last time I tried it in a bar. I've never personally opened a bottle of it.
Okay,
so big step for me. I'm excited. You guys are here.
We're here.
and you voted for it. So,
Yes, thank you.
and don't worry, the other 2 bottles we will also review. They just will not be the very first episode that you guys see or podcast that you guys hear. So, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear any feedback. If there's a bottle you want to see reviewed or hear reviewed, happy to go find that and review that for y'all. We love doing this. I personally love doing it. So
we enjoy being here with you, doing it as well.
That's what it's all about. We're just a bunch of guys having fun with bourbon.
There
And
you
if
go.
folks out there like it, we'll keep doing it.
perfect. Until episode 1.1, we'll see you very soon on the next episode of the 323 Bourbon Library Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.